Shocking new details in the 87-page lawsuit that Justin Baldoni filed against the New York Times. We're going to read over some of the claims that go directly against Blake Lively's statements. Instead, Lively filed a request for right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, a procedure formality that does not require pleadings, remains confidential unless leaked as it was here, and crucially, does not subject the complainant to discovery. While such a letter can precede a lawsuit, it is clear that litigation was never her ultimate goal. Her real intention was to weaponize the appearance of legitimacy conferred by a number of legal documents to launch salacious headline-grabbing allegations and reshape her public persona at the expense of the plaintiffs. Any negative press about Lively was unequivocally a consequence of her own actions. Even Times itself acknowledged Lively's public misstep in August 17, 2024. It ends with us press tour drama explained. In it, reporter Shivani Gonzalez observed, Lively's promotion of the movie has included a push for her new hair care line, discussion of the clothes in the movie, and response to questions about abuse, which have been criticized as shallow and tone-deaf. Baldoni, by contrast, has emphasized the importance of raising awareness of domestic violence and providing resources for those in similar situations. Lively's marketing efforts, which included encouraging audiences to grab your friends, wear your florals, while promoting her hair care and alcoholic brands, were widely criticized as insensitive. This was particularly glaring with World Health Organization statistics showing that 55% of domestic violence incidents involve alcohol. Her actions naturally triggered organic public criticism and unleashed a cycle of negative coverage, including, as is common in the digital age, the resurfacing of old, unflattering content. Lively's takeover wardrobe. On or about May 15, 2023, principal photography of the film commenced in New Jersey. During pre-production, Lively began to insert and control over aspects of the film beyond her role as an actor and outside the scope of her contractual entitlements, which lead actors are sometimes granted approval over the general look of their on-screen character. This authority typically does not include full control over wardrobe decisions, without input from the director and the producers. Nevertheless, Lively overstepped these boundaries, sidelining the production's costume designer, a seasoned professional with a long-time standing working relationship with Lively. Ignoring the director's vision for her character and disregarding the weeks spent by the entire team shopping and thoughtfully crafting her wardrobe in preparation for filming, Lively would send hundreds of images to the film's costume designer during all hours of the evening, pointing them in the direction of the appearance she wanted for her character. The costume designer then had to reshop for her wardrobe, far exceeding the allocated budget and diverting time and resources. At one point, Lively insisted that her character had money and could afford $5,000 shoes, which had Baldoni rethinking the entire script that had been being worked on for well over a year and had been approved by both studios. Lively also had several times refusing to participate in wardrobe fittings at the production office, a mere 15 minutes away from her house. Instead, she insisted that the costume department pack up the wardrobe department and deliver all of her wardrobe items to her, loading the wardrobe department on trucks and delivering them to Lively's residence for fittings added both time to the production schedule and expense to the film, two things production work hard to avoid with. These demands were never mentioned at the contract negotiation phase and therefore were not included in the budget. Lively, herself having a further obligation to the studios as an executive producer, paid no mind to the budget and the months of planning that had already occurred. Even if Lively had a contractual authority to approve her character's wardrobe, which she did not, a grant of such authority would not and could not imply the right to blow up the film's budget with additional unanticipated costs. In an effort to maintain harmony at the start of their working relationship and to avoid further delays caused by the wardrobe conflict, Baldoni and the studio reluctantly allowed Lively full control over her wardrobe. The concession quickly proved regrettable. On the first day of the principal photography, paparazzi captured and published photos of Lively and the character wearing her self-selected wardrobe. These images were described as unflattering and sparked a backlash from the film's distributor, Sony. Baldoni received direct criticism from Sony, who voiced concerns about the impact of the photos on the film's public perception. Following these events, Baldoni approached Lively in her trailer to discuss necessary wardrobe adjustments. The conversation, while professional, took considerable time and was later grossly misrepresented in Lively's CRD complaint, falsely characterizing the exchange as a lengthy outburst and that delayed filming and caused to the crew to wait for hours while Baldoni cried in Lively's dressing room. This account, later published by Times, is false. Although Baldoni did briefly tear up during the conversation, it was in response to what he believed was a genuine compliment from Lively, praising his work as a director and actor. In hindsight, Baldoni recognized this as a manipulation tactic, likely intended to persuade him to continue to allow her unchecked control over wardrobe decisions. Lively later leveraged this conversation in support of her allegations of harassment, alleging that Baldoni had made inappropriate comments of her appearance. In reality, Baldoni was relaying the distributor's concerns and the widespread social media criticism regarding the wardrobe's failure to meet audiences' expectations, a settlement Baldoni shared. This incident marked the beginning of trouble patterns of manipulative behavior by Lively. Lively begins rewriting the script. During a red carpet interview at the New York City Celebration premiere of the film, Lively stated, "Iconic rooftop scene. My husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that but you now." This revelation came as a surprise to the film's credited screenwriter, who, when later interviewed, graciously responded, "So if I'm being told that Ryan wrote that, then great, how wonderful." The screenwriter further acknowledged that there were little flourishes that I did not write. And if those were flourishes came from Ryan, I think that's wonderful. This was also the first time plaintiffs learned that Reynold, who had no formal role in the film's production, made unauthorized changes to the script. Furthermore, Lively herself began altering the script daily. The frequency of Lively's revisions alarmed the producers, directors, and studio, who anticipated that her interference would persist every day of the shoot and disrupt the production schedule. Each shooting day was already intricately planned, and her constant change introduced significant stress on the production crew and the financial strain. However, just weeks prior, Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, had aggressively berated Baldoni during a meeting at their penthouse in New York, accusing him of fat-shaming Lively. Baldoni, in an effort to avoid further confrontation with Lively and Reynolds and rebuild rapport with his co-star, continued to bend to her will. Reynolds and Lively's inappropriate and humiliating berating of Baldoni, delivered perhaps intentionally, as other celebrity friends were coming in and out of the penthouse, was prompted by Baldoni's reasonable inquiry into crucial information needed to ensure safety and avoid injury in a scene. Baldoni was training for a physical demanding scene in which his character, Ryle, would lift Lily, asked the trainer how much Lively weighed. Baldoni, who suffers from back issues, has multiple bulging discs, and inquiry to ensure he would be safely to perform the lift without injury. Unfortunately, the trainer relayed this information to Lively, who then informed Reynolds. The confrontation that followed was so aggressive that Baldoni felt compelled to offer repeated apologies, despite his questioning being entirely reasonable and made in good faith. Following this incident, Lively refused to perform the lift scene, even though it had already been rehearsed with the stunt double. In fact, Lively threatened to quit the production altogether, despite her contractual obligations. Lively gave Baldoni an ultimatum to either cast someone else or work with her in the way she works. It was her way or the highway. Recasting would be detrimental to production, sever Wayfarer's relationship with Sony, and cost millions. To highlight the effects of the masterful gaslighting, Baldoni and Wayfarer also truly believed that in an effort to save herself from the backlash of being recast, Lively could leak that she felt fat-shamed by Baldoni, which he thought would ruin his career. Notably, it appears he was not wrong, and despite his efforts to do everything her way, she still tried. continues to try, and arguably did, with the help of the Times, to ruin his career, reputation, and well-being. Beyond the script revisions, Lively extended her influences over the film to the other area frequencies, challenging decisions and asserting control. She has not only rewrote her own dialogue, but she also made unilateral changes to the characters' lines, effectively altering the script on a broad scale. This pattern of interference continued to disrupt the production process, often causing stress, chaos, and delays. So even with all this new information, it needs to be told that they submitted a lot of proof. Text message exchanges, emails, they put it all out there. So we're going to continue to follow this. If any more come out, we will be reading and looking it over together.